Hi there, how's it going? Welcome to the Just Flutes YouTube. This is day 4 of 5 getting started with whistle. I'm Philippe Barnes, here ready with my coffee. Okay, hopefully you're sitting there with a high D whistle or a low D whistle. If you haven't got one yet, head to the Just Flutes website and there's loads to pick from. There's other videos in the Just Flutes YouTube where you can see me demonstrating the various options. And if you have any questions, please feel free to DM me on Instagram, Philippe Barnes, or Facebook. Any comments, please leave them below and I'll try to reply to anything that you say. Also, if you're interested in more tunes, there's some great stuff at the Just Flutes website. I've got a tune book out and some flute piano pieces and a book on Irish music on the silver flute. You can head to my website too, philippebarnes.com. Hopefully you've done the other videos. If not, you might want to head back and look at those first. Just adding a few ornaments each time and starting with an easier tune, gradually getting more complicated as we go. So today, slight left turn, we're going to look at a waltz before our last tune of the week tomorrow, where I'm going to do a reel. So this tune, it's called Midnight on the Water. It's actually a tune from Texas, kind of an old-timey tune. I looked it up and it seemed to be saying that it was written around 1900. But it's played a lot in Irish sessions by Irish musicians. It's just a nice and lovely waltz piano whistle. So I'll play it to you once you can hear it and then I'll go through it piece by piece. Lovely stuff. So you'll notice there's a slight swing to this one. It's a waltz, so it's in 3/4. If you want to see the music, it's up on the Just Flutes website as well as the music for the rest of the week. I'd encourage you to try for the next half an hour just learning it by ear with me and looking at the music afterwards. If you find I'm going too fast, you can always rewind it later. After it's gone out live, it'll be up on the Just Flutes page, so remember to subscribe to the Just Flutes for more great fluty content. Let's start from the top. So we're going to be using a couple of feathering things in this, a couple of cuts, and we're going to slide to a couple of notes as well. Okay, so the very start, starting all fingers down on D. I'm going to go the D, E, F sharp. When I get to the E, I'm just going to push that finger off like this. Just quickly, tiny little slide there, and then feather the F sharp with the bottom finger. So all these little things are just trying to add character to the tune. So we're going to take away our vibrato from the lungs, and we want to just have a real clean, consistent sound. That's the start there. Do that a couple of times. Maybe if the feathering and ornaments are too much, just learn the notes with me this time round and come back to it. Next bit, gonna just lift that finger off and back on again real quick. Let's feather that next long F sharp. So let's put those two together. And again. So a couple more times. And then we do that same thing again. There's a short F sharp at the end. We're going up to an A. When we get to that A, let's feather it. So I'm using right 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Do that again. Now let's put it together from the top, so starting on a D, all fingers down. Lovely stuff, one more time. Okay, the next phrase. So we're going A, B, A, but before the last A, we're just putting in a really quick G between the B and the G. So just looking for a little kind of poppy, clicky sound there, not necessarily wanting to hear what that note is. I don't really want to hear what that G is, just that there's something in there. It's just a nice way to articulate the next note. Let's try that again. And the rest of the phrase after it goes. So it's, and then, so F, E, D, D, E, and I'm tonguing that second D. You can do it just by starting the air again, stopping it and starting it again, which kind of is closing your throat, which you might want to avoid doing if you're normally a flute player and you don't want to encourage your throat to be closing, to stop and start notes again. You can can also re-articulate the D by just popping one of those fingers up real quick. So there's an option for you there. So let's put that whole phrase together from the A. Again. Let's try putting that together from the very top now. Low D to start. Let's just recap that end piece of that. One more time. Lovely. Now the next bar. So F sharp to D. So the D is all fingers down, but the top one off. So general rule, you want to have your lower notes louder than your high notes. Then we're going to a B, but we're going to slide into the B from an A. So I'm just pushing that finger away and up, I'm straightening it as I do it. Just get the tiniest little bit of a slide before that B. I really like that little bit of colour, but if you don't like it, take it out. One more time. Great. And then to get to the next A, we're going to do a little couple of notes in there. Just going to get this B off real quick, back on. We're going to feather the A when we get there. Like I said, if there's too much going on there, don't worry too much about the feathering or the ornaments, just try and get the outline of the tune. When you put it all together, I think it really adds something to the tune. So sliding into the B, we're just lifting that B really quick, we're getting down to the A and we're feathering it. Great. So let's go from the F sharp, da dee da dum. Again. Great. Next bit. So we're going F, D, E, F. We're feathering the F. So we put that with the notes before it. All together. Lovely stuff. Okay, and then we're at the end of the A part here, the little last final phrase. So let's break that down. So A to F sharp, and then I'm bouncing the E finger. So if I did that really slow motion, you're going from the F, but we're just doing a bounce. Sometimes you've got to think of your fingers moving differently to how they would be on a normal wind instrument if you were playing classical music, and everything has to be beautiful and all the notes have to have like full sound. We're looking for rhythmic things from the hands here. So you might find it easier to work on that movement away from the tone hole, because as soon as you put your fingers on the tone hole, they want to do what they're used to doing. They want to go back to their normal muscle memory. So like if I ask a beginner sometimes to put down the next finger when they're holding the flute, it seems like the hardest thing in the world to do. But if you have your hands just on the table and you have one finger down and you ask them to put down the next finger, it's simple, because you get kind of bogged down into thinking stuff is harder than it really is. Just popping in a little F, D on the end there. Again. So let's make that end phrase a little bit longer by playing a bit before it. Again. Lovely. So now I'm going to play the whole of the A part and try and keep up as much as you can. Remember, you can always watch this again later, and you can pause it and fast forward through me wittering on. Repeat. Great. Let's have a look at the B part. The B part for this tune is written out in full if you look at the score and when you see the score later, because the second half of it is different each time. But the good news is the second time it's the same as the end of the A part, so there's not a lot of extra material to learn. So let's start with the B part. To get up into it, we're going A, B, C sharp to D. You might find with your C sharp that when you get to here, you might find your whistle isn't very stable. You want to put your little finger down to support it, or you want to put down middle finger, right hand. The whistle's fairly light anyway, so you might not need to do too much. Okay, from the D. Now we're going to do a run which is all in step, so it's always the next note to it, if that makes sense. So we're only going as high as an E and as low as an A. Stick the D on the beginning of it. And that light swing into it. sopran we did the other day, just a little Mexican wave for the right hand. Great. Then the next bar, I'm going to go, it's a D, but I'm going to take this finger off and put it back on. You get this effect. So coming from a C sharp. Don't worry if that's a tricky ornament to do, we don't have to put it in at all. It's quite a nice one on the D there. So the rest of that bar, we're going D, B, A, F sharp, D. Again. We'll pop the swing into that. Pop the D in before it. Let's go back to the beginning of the B part now. All together. Great. One more time. Great. Now the next part, optional feathering on the E. We're going to move our hand to the edge of the hole. Either with or without, up to you. Again. Now the next bit, there's a few cuts. We're just going to move around this E here. So a little quick D before the E. So we're practicing just swapping those fingers basically. And then we're going to put an F sharp in just by lifting this finger. Just that little bubble. We put those two together. So it's a real quick D, a real quick F sharp, and the E lasts for a crotchet or for one beat in the middle of that. We're actually heading down to a D afterwards, so let's put that in now. If I slow that right down, you can miss out those grace notes if you want to make it an E to D. Do that a couple of times. And again. Great. Then we're going to go. So I'm going E to F. From there, I'm sliding up to the A. So I'm going to go. This finger just comes off. This one pushes away and up, straightens out. It's an easy way to just get into that A. You can make it clean. Up to you. That's the clean version. If we're going to slide, it's going to be. I apologise if this is freaking out anyone's pets. It's kind of like the highest note in the tune. And we're going to take a little breath after that. Let's try from the beginning of that sort of phrase. Sorry. You can feather that A as well, right hand. Probably a middle finger for my whistle anyway. Lovely stuff. In the home straight now, just a few more bars of new information. So we're starting from an F sharp, just sliding up into that G. Again. Going to swing it. And then on the end of that, we're putting a B, C sharp, D. So the whole phrase together. And again. So you can hear how it comes from the bit before. The good news is that D is back to a repeat of the beginning of the B part. Play that with me. Then we're going to play the same as we played at the end of the A part. Play with me. So let's just recap the bits of the B part and then I'll play it all the way through. Then we're going to bounce that G finger into the D. Again. Next phrase. One more time. Now we're going up. Sliding up from that G. Great. Let's put those two together. Again. And repeating the beginning of the B. And then the ending that's the same as the A part ending. So let's play that all the way through together. Keep it nice and slow. Hopefully you've enjoyed it today. Come back tomorrow for a reel. very much. There's a lovely waltz called Midnight on the Water. Sheet music's at justflutes.com. If you want to learn more whistle, or if you want to learn how to play Irish music on your silver flute, your bowing flute, I teach Skype lessons. Head to philippebarnes.com or head to Instagram. You can find me, Philippe Barnes. You can keep up to date with what I'm up to. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks.